Welcome to Design Foundations, the podcast where faith, family health, and true wellness come together. I'm Kelly, an integrative health practitioner, optometrist, and mom who's been where you are. I know how overwhelming it can feel to navigate health challenges for yourself and your family. That's why I'm here, to help you uncover the root causes of those struggles and help you build an unshakable foundation for a thriving life where you feel rooted, replenished, and restored. In each episode, we'll cut through the noise, talk about practical tips, and share real-life stories to encourage and equip you. You've got what it takes to create lasting wellness. I'm just here to help you get there. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Design Foundations. Welcome to today's episode. If you're feeling overwhelmed, whether it be health struggles, family dynamics, kids, constant demands of life, this episode is for you. Today, we're diving into a practice that is often misunderstood. It's something we think about is too simple to make a difference. But in reality, it is one of the most profound tools that you can use to transform your body, your mind, your spirit. And we're going to be talking about gratitude. And before you start thinking like, great, another person to tell me to get a gratitude journal, which I am in fact going to do. But let me tell you that gratitude isn't just a surface level feel-good activity. It's a science-backed, deeply transformational practice that can rewire your brain, calm your central nervous system, and improve your physical health. It's also a way to reconnect with faith, purpose, especially when life feels like it's spinning completely out of control, which we all know we have experienced at one point or the other. So I'm really hoping by the end of this episode that you're not only going to understand how gratitude works on a biological level, we're going to talk a little bit about the science, but you'll also walk away with practical, actionable steps to integrate this life-changing habit into your day, even when life is feeling overwhelming. I always want you to leave with something that you feel like is applicable, something that you could take a bite-sized piece of and start doing today. And we're definitely going to have that for you. But I want to give you all of the information about gratitude, what it is, how it works on the brain, how we can integrate it into our lives, because I think it's really important. When I have the knowledge and I can see the effects that it has on the brain, has on the body, has on my emotional health, my mental health, my physical health, when I see that and I understand it, hopefully you're more motivated to get those daily rhythms, this simple habit that can create huge transformational change. If I have the knowledge of that, then I'm going to be more motivated to make an effort to integrate that into my life. And so I really want to be able to give this to you today. It's something you can do by yourself. It's something you can do with your kids. There's something you can do as a family. So we're going to dive right in today. First thing we're going to talk about is what gratitude really is and what it's not. So let's just start by defining gratitude. True gratitude is not about ignoring the struggles, pretending like everything is sunshine and rainbows, like everything is fine. It's not about slapping a smile on your face or dismissing the challenges that you're facing. We all face difficult times at one point or another, but gratitude is about being able to hold the space for both, being able to hold space for the hard and hold space for the beautiful. So it's acknowledging that while life is messy and it is, there's still things worth celebrating. Gratitude says, yes, this is hard, but I can still see what's good. I can still see the light shining through the cracks. And the most important thing, if you're going to leave with anything today, I just want you to hear this, that gratitude isn't just a fleeting feeling that shows up like at Thanksgiving or going around the table. It's not just showing up when everything's going well or because circumstances are going my way. It is a choice. It is a deliberate, intentional decision to focus on what is good. And you have the choice if you're going to focus on fear and scarcity and be anxious. Be careful with that. I'm not saying that everyone that has anxiety is choosing it, but we have the ability to decide what we're going to dwell on. So it's an intentional decision to focus on what's good, even when it feels easier to dwell on everything that's not. And this mindset shift isn't just philosophical, but it has real measurable effects on your brain, on your nervous system, and on your overall health that we're going to learn about today. So we're going to get a little nerdy here and dive into some of the science because I absolutely love the science. the neuroscience, learning how these types of things are actually have a physical effect and change on the brain. So I'm going to share some of that with you today. And the first thing I want to talk about is really how gratitude has the ability to strengthen and change the physical structure within the brain. So gratitude, when we are experiencing it, practicing it, it's going to actually activate the prefrontal cortex. And this is the part of your brain that's responsible for emotional regulation. It's responsible for decision making and your ability to manage stress overall. And so the area specifically that's activated in there is the anterior cingulate cortex. So this actually helps with emotional resilience. This is helping with empathy. So studies show that people who are regularly practicing gratitude are actually developing stronger and more gray matter in these specific areas of the brain. So they're making their brains more capable of being able to handle life's challenges, because we just talked about that specific area of the brain helps me to manage stress. It helps me to have empathy. It helps me with emotional resilience. So if I'm strengthening and literally growing my brain in that area, then I'm going to be more capable to handle those things. The second thing that's really, honestly, just really cool is that we're able to, when I practice gratitude, it causes neurotransmitters to release. And the specific neurotransmitters that are released are like the body's feel-good chemicals. So these get released, they're serotonin and dopamine. And these two neurotransmitters are really like your natural mood stabilizers and reward chemicals. So serotonin is going to be my neurotransmitter that really helps me combat anxiety, while dopamine creates a sense of like motivation and happiness. This kind of gives like a positive feedback loop or reward center when it comes to dopamine. So studies have shown that gratitude actually has the ability to act like a natural antidepressant. And the way that works is that when my brain's releasing serotonin, which remember is kind of like my happy anti-anxiety neurotransmitter, if that's continually being released, then those levels in my brain are rising and they're going to keep my mood at a higher rate. So if I'm consistently practicing that, the levels have the ability to rise. When I'm looking at dopamine, I'm actually creating a positive feedback loop. So remember this, that works on like the reward center of my brain. So if I release dopamine and my brain likes that, if I'm practicing gratitude, dopamine is released. My brain likes that. It likes the dopamine. It wants more dopamine. So my brain starts looking for more things to be thankful for. So it's really neat to see that the way that the body was like designed and created, that just by acting grateful, finding thankfulness in certain areas of our lives, when I am intentional about what I'm thinking about, I have the ability to literally change my brain. The next thing we're going to talk about is the ability to actually rewire the brain. So gratitude's effect on the neuroplasticity of the brain, which is a big fancy word for the brain's ability to change, really. And the brain has pathways all over the place. And I want you to think about two pathways. You have a positive pathway and a negative pathway. And we're referring to thoughts here. And so whatever pathway you're walking down is going to become more well-worn. Okay. If these paths were in a forest and I was only walking down one direction or one more consistently, that path is going to become more well-worn. So if we're thinking of our thoughts as these trail patterns, the path that you walk the most, whether it's their worry, negativity, whether it's the other direction, and I'm focusing more on gratitude, it's going to become easier to access over time. The brain always wants the easy path. So what we see is that practicing gratitude strengthens the gratitude path, the gratitude trail, the positive trail. And we can actually change what might have been a negative state, okay, or that negative pathway into the positive pathway. So I feel like I just made that really confusing. Let's just like back up for a second. Whatever path you're going down most often is the more well-worn path. So if my thoughts are continually like negative Nelly, I'm always seeing the glass half full. Everything is always wrong. I'm always fearful. That's where my thoughts are going. But you have the ability to switch directions, okay, to change direction on the path and to force those thoughts to go down the positive pathway. By doing that over time, that's going to become my more well-worn pathway. So it becomes dominant over time. When you go to sleep at night, your brain is creating thousands of neurons and they're just waiting to be told which pathway to go down. you have the ability to tell them which pathway they're going to go down by where your thoughts are focused. So have you ever thought about what you're thinking about, right? Are you taking your thoughts truly captive? When I'm doing that, I have the ability, the choice to decide which pathway those thoughts are going to go down. And so we have the ability literally to rewire those positive pathways. And over time, they become stronger and stronger. Again, remember, gratitude is a discipline. It is a muscle that has to be flexed. It has to be practiced. But when we do, we can get remarkable, remarkable change, not just in our brain, but in our entire bodies, as we're going to continue to learn about. The next thing just to mention is the ability of gratitude to be able to get you into a calmer state. So it actually calms down the signal in the amygdala of the brain. And this is our fear center. So this is responsible for things like processing threats, triggering that fight or fight response. Gratitude reduces the activity in this area and it turns down the intensity of that fear and anxiety. So it's kind of like lowering the volume on your brain's alarm system or giving a reset to the central nervous system. So one side note that was really interesting is there was a group of people who were seeking mental health consultations. They were doing counseling outside of their counseling sessions. They split those people into two groups. And they had one group write gratitude letters. And then they had the other group of people focus on their negative experiences. And what they found is the people who were focused on gratitude and writing the letters of gratitude recovered more quickly. Their mood was significantly increased. And when they looked at the other group, they found that they were stuck in more negative spirals. And the numbers were really significant. So these are the guys who were more stuck in anxiety, these spirals of depression, just by where they were focusing on, what they were focusing on their time outside of their counseling sessions. So gratitude isn't just a temporary fix, okay? It's not just this short-term fleeting feeling like we mentioned. It can create long-term transformation. We have to talk a little bit more about gratitude and the nervous system. So, because this is where gratitude really goes beyond your brain and it starts to impact your entire body, kind of the rollout here, if you want to think about it. But so let's look at the two states of the nervous system. You have your sympathetic state and you have your parasympathetic state. And the sympathetic state is your stress mode. This is when you are stuck here. Your body's going to release cortisol, that is the body's stress hormone. This is going to keep you on edge. It's going to lead to inflammation. We're going to get poor sleep. And then long-term health issues are going to start arising from this. My other state, my parasympathetic state, is my rest and digest. This is the body's calm mode. This is where your body slows down. This is where it heals. This is where it starts to restore itself. So gratitude helps shift your body from this fight or flight to rest and digest. And for healing purposes, we always want to be in rest and digest as much as possible. I really only want to be in fight or flight when a bear is chasing me. There's a reason for me to be going 100 miles an hour. Otherwise, that nervous system state is never serving me well. And we as moms, not even just moms, in this culture, everything is moving so fast. Everything is hustle. Have your kids involved in 5 sports, do this, do that. We naturally get stuck in this fight or flight state, and we want to be able to get out of it. So just taking a few moments to focus on gratitude can help you to shift your body back to that more calm state. One of the things that gratitude does, the way that it does this, it actually activates the vagus nerve. So you have a nerve that runs from your brain all the way into your belly. And this is kind of like the superhighway that connects the two. And when it's activated, what happens physically is your heart rate starts to slow. Your blood pressure drops. Your body enters a state of relaxation. So gratitude stimulates that vagus nerve and starts signaling to the rest of your body that it's safe to rest just by taking a couple moments to focus on what's going well. So we mentioned it has the ability to lower cortisol levels, lower the body's stress hormone. It's actually been shown to do this by up to 23%, helping your body recover from stress and reducing the risk of additional stress-related illnesses. We talk about stress and think about it as overwhelm, but it's honestly like a silent killer for the body. Stress can be the root cause of so many conditions that we just don't talk about very often within the medical system. But stress is at the root of so many things. I just want to mention a few more things of how gratitude can affect our physical bodies. It can improve sleep. It is able to get the body into the brain into a deeper relaxed state. So we get more restorative sleep. If I get more restorative sleep, I know that I'm going to wake up more refreshed and be able to face life's challenges better than I would have had I not slept very well. We know that it can reduce inflammation. And we know that chronic stress over time actually triggers inflammation. So I know this is linked to disease, heart disease, different autoimmune disorders, diabetes. So gratitude is actually helping reduce inflammation markers in the body, promoting overall health. One really fascinating thing that I think is really important to mention and just neat is that gratitude actually changes the way that the body perceives pain. So it's been shown to actually reduce the perception of pain. And it does this by regulating dopamine. It's going to actually help shift your focus away from discomfort and toward a sense of relief and resilience. Okay, so there's so many implications that we've seen, reasons to implement gratitude from a mental health and a physical health and even emotional. But for those of us who value faith, gratitude takes on an even deeper meaning. And so the Bible reminds us again and again to give thanks, not just for the good things, but even in the hard moments. We know that Philippians 4:6 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Gratitude has the ability to shift our focus from fear to faith. It is a way of saying, like, Lord, I trust you. I see your hand in my life, even when it's hard. And it's so easy for us to dwell on the things that are hard and the things that are not going well with our kids, with our marriage, with our health, whatever it might be. But when we practice gratitude, we are aligning our hearts with God's truth, that His blessings are abundant, even in seasons of significant challenge. So I can't leave you today without talking about actionable steps that you can take. How can I practice gratitude? How can I get it into my daily life? You don't need hours of free time to make gratitude a habit, but it is one of the best medicines that you can start and that you can start as soon as today. The first and easiest I mentioned earlier, I was going to tell you to do is a gratitude journal. And you might be sick of hearing people talk about that, but something as simple as every morning or every night, writing down 3 things that you're grateful for. Be detailed. Instead of I'm grateful for my kids, try I'm grateful for the way my son hugged me when he came home from school. Be very specific, very intentional with what you're thinking about. This is a great time too, if I love to journal. So I love to journal my prayers. I really try to focus on gratitude in them. We should be giving thanksgiving to the Lord and focusing on that anyway within our prayers. And so that's a practice that I personally really love. It's not for everybody, but this is something that you could implement here. You could do something just like gratitude pauses. When you're feeling overwhelmed, pause, find one thing to be thankful for in that moment. It could be as simple as the warmth of your coffee or the sound of birds outside, whatever it is, but just taking the second to find it, especially in those times or moments of significant overwhelm. Gratitude breathing. So deep breathing here, combining gratitude with inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4 counts, exhale for 6. So as you breathe, you can think about something that you're thankful for. This is actually activating that vagus nerve that we talked about and has the ability to calm your nervous system down. You can keep something like a gratitude jar, keep a jar in your kitchen. Each day, write down one thing that you're thankful for and drop it in. And on tough days, revisit the notes to remind yourself of the good and that there is good even in the days of hard. So in closing, I just really want to challenge you to 30 days of gratitude. My challenge for you is for the next 30 days, commit to practicing gratitude daily. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be consistent. Gratitude is not about erasing life's challenges. It's about giving you the strength to face them with more peace, more clarity, more resilience. It rewires your brain, calms your nervous system, and reminds you of the abundance already in your life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Let's commit together to noticing the good, no matter how chaotic life gets, because when we pause to give thanks, we step into the fullness of who we were created to be. Until next time, take care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. Thank you for tuning in to Design Foundations. I hope today's episode left you feeling encouraged and equipped to take meaningful steps towards building a healthier, more intentional life for you and your family. If you found value in this conversation, I'd love for you to share it with someone else who might need this encouragement today. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling inspired, leave a review. It helps this message reach more families like yours. Until next time, remember, true wellness starts with a strong foundation, rooted in faith, and grows with intentional care. Take care, and I'll see you next week.
This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. The information shared is not a substitute for professional medical care. Always consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your health or wellness routine.